Congestion pricing in New York City. It's heating up again, and the toll plan was stalled for a couple of years because of COVID.
Yeah, so if implemented, the plan would be the first of its kind in the nation. But some lawmakers are banding together and fighting back against congestion pricing. Now, they say their districts include many commuters who would be negatively impacted by the cost of congestion tolls. Joining us this morning, New Jersey Congressman Josh Gottheimer and New York Congresswoman Nicole Malliotakis, who represent Staten Island and parts of Brooklyn. Thank you both for being here this morning.
Thank you.
And us.
So let's just start off with this. Why do we need to not push for this going forward, especially everything that we've gone through with COVID? Nicole, maybe we'll start with you.
Look, this is just the city's latest cash grab. We know already that we are paying high tolls in New York. And the reality is that it's going to hurt the middle and working class the most. Think about people who perhaps have to drive into Manhattan to work, but think about also people who have to go for chemotherapy, for dialysis, how this would impact those individuals. This is a literal cash grab. They're talking about as high as $35. And I'm working with my colleague, bipartisan effort, Josh Gottheimer, to basically do whatever we can at the federal level to stop this from happening. We've introduced an amendment to prohibit any federal funds to be used in the implementation of it. We had Pete Buttigieg, the transportation secretary, come before our Transportation Infrastructure Committee the other day. I've asked for him to ensure that it is a thorough, transparent process. Remember, this is the first in the nation. They've only done it in London, and it hasn't worked there. If you look at the reviews there, it has not had the intended consequence of reducing emissions.
Well, it did reduce traffic there. So, I mean, in terms of their reasoning to want to do this, it's to reduce traffic. It's to get more people to use public transportation. Congressman Gottheimer, you probably do agree that you know, people do want to reduce traffic. They want to, make the environment a bit cleaner. Is there a better way to do this than congestion pricing?
Of course, I support those goals, but I agree with Nicole. What you're doing here, and especially if you look at northern New Jersey, and I know the same issues with Staten Island, there just aren't the options for people for public transportation, right? So in London, they have lots of options, right, outside of London. In northern New Jersey, and I know this is an issue in New York as well for Nicole, they're just, for people got to get to work. You're a nurse, right? You're a taxi driver. You're trying to get to the city to work. Suddenly, it's not just $16 a day to go over the GW Bridge and $4,000 a year in tolls. You're actually going to whack people with another $5,000, $23 minimum just to drive into Midtown Manhattan on top of what you're paying. Think about that's $10,000 a year with gas and parking plus this $10,000 a year. You're talking a total of $20,000 a year for people who are hardworking, just trying to make ends meet, especially now. Why would you whack people with that right now? Why would you do that to folks? And all we're saying is, hey, why don't we reconsider this and give people some credits who are actually going over these bridges to get in and tunnels to get into New York to work.
So, Congresswoman, the MTA says they have these lofty goals of reducing congestion, but they also say they need the money. How much money do they need? They just got a huge bailout from the feds. Are you concerned about this?
Well, we know historically that the MTA has been the black hole. The reality is, Josh, what he said is absolutely right. We could be investing in our transportation. We just passed an infrastructure package where they can apply for grants for particular capital projects that they want to do. And if you really want people to get onto public transportation, you need to make it safe. We know that many more people are choosing to drive into Manhattan because they are concerned about safety on our subways. We got to get the public safety issues in our city under control. That's how you're going to get more residents to come back to Manhattan. It's how you're going to get more visitors and tourists to come back to Manhattan, and of course, people to return to work on a regular basis. And I think that with the MTA, and you're right, New York State just passed the largest budget, the second largest in the nation, and per capita, it's probably one of the highest. It's twice the size of Florida's budget, but Florida has millions of more residents. So again, this is another cash grab for an authority that is not responsible in its spending, but is not taking advantage of some of the matching fund programs that it could be receiving when it comes to federal funds.
Okay, let's talk about the MTA. They did release a statement. They said the Central Business District tolling program is intended to reduce vehicle congestion, improve air quality, support investment in public transportation, which benefits everybody who works in or visits the Central Business District. An extraordinarily granular environmental review of the program is ongoing. Congressman, they did leave open the possibility that they may give exceptions to people. Like if you're sick, maybe if you're a city employee, maybe if you're a teacher. I mean, are you concerned about the exemptions?
Well, all I know is I want to make sure that anybody driving from Jersey, and I'm sure Nicole feels the same way from Staten Island, you're driving from Jersey and you come in and you're paying that toll, that you don't get whacked again with this congestion tax. And if we're going to suddenly pick who gets the exemption versus saying to anybody, and this is at a time when New York's the city's trying to encourage people to come back to work. If you want that to happen, you can't say to people, hey, welcome back. We're going to hit you with another $23 a day, $5,000 a year as a comeback welcome gift. That is not, and what's unbelievable is the MTA's CFO said that the MTA is not in a position to need the congestion pricing proceeds. So Nicole said it right. This is just a cash grab. And I'm trying to do it on the backs of our residents. And I get they want more money. I don't know why they always want more money. But the bottom line is right now we should be fiscally responsible. We should be looking out for people, for hardworking folks, and we should take care of them. This is insane.
Well, most people agree with you.
Yeah.
Most
we
people
want
agree
more
with
money
you.
too. Who do we go to and talk to? Congressman Josh Gottheimer and Congresswoman Nicole Malliotakis, thank you so much for coming together from both sides, different sides of the aisle. Keep us, on
You'd be
top
proud
of...
to know that Nicole and I are both in the Problem Solvers Caucus. We work together all the time, and that's how we should be governing.
Beautiful.
We agree.
Thank you.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you, guys.
Your time right now, 7:41, and Mets ace Jacob deGrom could be very close to returning to the mound.